Hello and welcome to my training video for the AAT Advanced Diploma Synoptic Assessment Practice Assessment 1. We're going to be focusing on the spreadsheet software element of Practice Assessment 1 today, which has been an area that students have found quite difficult. In this video we're going to cover all aspects of Practice Assessment 1 in lots of detail. I hope you found this video useful. Like we did with task 2.1, I've downloaded the Excel file from Secure Assess and I've saved it in the AAT exam format, which we have here. So I've saved it in the format your initial dash surname dash AAT number dash date in the format day month year dash task 2 dash 2. So we can see here that I've saved it for myself there, and that's all fine. So we're going to get straight into task A. So we're told that we need to open the worksheet called Invoices, which shows 20x7 sales invoices, and we're going to need to use a lookup function on the item number column to complete the net sales column for each invoice using information from the price list worksheet. Then we're going to be using absolute referencing to calculate the gross sales value of each invoice using the VAT figure provided in cell I2. So let's go to the Invoices worksheet, and we can see here that we've got a very long list of invoices. If I scroll down, it's a very long list of invoices here. It goes well over 300 invoices, close to 400 invoices, 392 lines there. So let's go back to the top. So there's a lot of invoices there we have to be working with. So the first task we're told is we want to use a lookup function on the item number column to complete the net sales column for each invoice using information from the price list worksheet. So we're going to be placing our cursor in column H, which is the net sales column, because this is where we want our answer to appear. And we're going to need to do a lookup function. Now, because all of our data is provided in columns, we can see our data is provided in columns, and when it's provided in columns we can say it's provided vertically, so that's going up and down in columns. So because our data is provided vertically, when we do our lookup function, then we want to be using VLOOKUP, which stands for vertical lookup. If everything was arranged in rows, we would be using HLOOKUP for horizontal lookup. Let's just talk about what we need to do here, because to work out the net sales figure, we want to multiply the quantity of items by the price for each item. Now, we haven't got the price for each item here. This is what we're going to be using the lookup function for, but we can see that each item number is different. So there's a whole load of items with 35698, another lot with 28654, and more still with 28457, etc. So each one of those will correspond to a price. So let's look at doing the lookup function. So for our net sales figure here, what I want to do is I want to say equals D7, so that's the quantity sold. So I want to take the quantity sold times by the price per unit. Now, because we don't actually have a price per unit here, this is what we're going to need to do the lookup function for. then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say times and then do a working, so open bracket for the working, and then I'm going to say V lookup, and then I'm going to open the bracket, which takes me into the V lookup. So we've got 4 things here we need to fill out. We've got the lookup value, so what we're going to be looking up. Then the table array, that's just basically the table of data we've got and we're going to be looking up. The column index number, that's the column that we're going to be using to look up within our lookup table. And then the range lookup is going to say true or false. We'll come on to that in a minute. So in this case, the lookup value is going to be C7. That's the cell that we're going to be looking up in our lookup table. Let's just click the comma. So we're going to move on now to table array. We can see that the table array is now showing up as grey. That's what we're looking at now. Now for the table array, we're going to need to go into the price list worksheet. So we'll click on the price list worksheet, and this is the table of data. So I want to select the table of data, but I don't want to select the header row, so I'm just going to select that data there. So cell A5 to cell D12. So happy with that. I can click comma again, and this moves on now to the column index number. Now the prices are in column D, but where we've got to look at it here is actually say it's the 4th column. So column 1 is item number, column 2 is type, column 3 is description, and column 4 is price. So because it's the price we're interested in, the column we're looking at is column 4. Let's just press the comma again, and we're looking at the range lookup. Now it gives you 2 options, true or false. So true is looking for an appropriate match, or false is looking for an exact match. Now for these ones here, we're looking for an exact match here, so we're going to click on false. So we don't want it to just display the nearest thing, we want it to display the exact answer. So let's just close the brackets there, and again, so 2 closed brackets, and now we've got our formula. So I can press enter, and then it comes back to the invoices tab, and there's my formula. Let's just go back into it for a second, because one other thing we've got to do. I'm just going to select these cells here, A5 to D12. So they're my price list lookup table, the table array. Now when I drag the formula down, because I don't want those to change, I don't want those to move, I'm going to be using the absolute cell referencing again. So you can put dollar signs in, do it manually if you like, so it'd be $5, $D, $12, that's fine. Alternatively, we can do what we did before, which is to use the F4 key to do it quickly. So if you're on a laptop and you've got F4 as one of the function keys, then you can hold down the function key and then press F4. That's what I'm going to do now. Or if you're on another computer, you may just need to press F4. So I'm going to do function F4, and we can see that now they're expressed in absolute terms, absolute cell references. So let's just press enter again. So I'm happy with that one there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag that down. I'm just going to copy that down all the way down. So it's going to take a little while to put all these ones in. So I'm just going to drag them all the way down. Let's just quickly check the very final one, and we can see here that is all correct. So we're happy with that one. Let's go up to the top now, and I'm just going to quickly save my work. So now we're going to look at the second bullet point of task A. We're going to be using absolute referencing to calculate the gross sales value of each invoice using the VAT figure provided in cell I2. So for this, to calculate the gross sales, we're going to need to use the net sales figure, in this case in cell H7, and the VAT figure, which will always be in cell I2. So let's go to the gross sales column here. I'm in I7, and I'm going to need to put a formula in. So I'm going to say here equals H7, so that's the net amount, plus, I'm going to open the brackets because I'm doing a formula now, plus H7 times the VAT figure in cell I2, and close the brackets. There we go, and that gives us my gross sales figure. Now we're not quite done there because we haven't used absolute referencing yet. So again, all we need to do is just select I2, that's the bit that we want to keep the same, that's where we're going to use the absolute cell referencing, and then you can either manually do $, so $I, $2, or we can do again just what we did a minute ago and press F4 or function F4, there we go, to make it absolute cell referencing. So now when we drag that formula down, we're always going to be referencing cell I2. Let's just press enter there, check that's correct, that's fine. So let's just drag that down. Again, it takes a little while, and let's just save that, and that completes task A. Let's move on now to look at task B. So we're in the worksheet called invoices, and the first thing we need to do is that we need to remove any duplicate invoices. So we're told to apply the remove duplicates function to the whole of the completed invoices table. When the remove duplicates dialog box is showing, but before you click the OK button, use the print screen function to capture evidence of your work. Then click OK in the remove duplicates dialog box, and in the screen print worksheet paste the screenshot. Then return to the invoices worksheet, and if there were any duplicates, enter the number found in cell J2, enter 0 if you found none. So let's firstly select the whole table of data. There we go. Now to remove duplicates, what I want to do is I want to go to the data tab at the top, and there's a button here, just hover over it, called remove duplicates. So I'm going to click on that one. And then I'm going to click on OK. Now it's come up with this message, 2 duplicates found and removed, 384 unique values remain. So we found out that we've got 2 duplicates in our series of data. Now what we need to do here then, this is where we need to do our screen print, so we don't want to click OK yet. So if you press the print screen key, so having done that, I'm going to go to the screen print worksheet, and I'm going to paste my screenshot. So I'm going to go to the Home tab and click on Paste, and it should come up. There we go. We can see that that's now in there as a screen print, showing evidence that we've removed the duplicates. So let's just save that a second. We'll just save that there, and then we're going to go back to my Invoices tab, and we're going to do the next thing. So it says on the next bullet point, then return to the Invoices worksheet, and if there were any duplicates, enter the number found in cell J2. So there's cell J2, cell J2, and there were 2 duplicates, so I'm going to put 2 in there and just press enter, and I'm just going to save. We've got one final thing to do as part of task B, and we're told that the owners of the business would like to know what the average value of their invoices were for the year. So we're told in cell J3, I've just clicked in there, cell J3, use a formula to calculate the average gross sales invoice value. So remember, just be careful with this in the exam because they say a high degree of accuracy is required. So remember, we're just looking at the gross average rather than the net average, so just be careful with that. So let's have a look at putting a formula in for that. So looking for the average gross sales invoice value. So in cell J3 I'm going to do equals average, then open bracket, and I'm just going to select the range of cells in here. Just going to select all the cells in column I. There we go. Let's just close the bracket, and then we're just going to press enter. So we're showing that to 2 decimal places. We're then told to format the numerical data in the net and gross sales invoice columns to accounting style to 2 decimal places. So let's just select this information then. So in column H and column I, so I'm going to select all of my information in here. Now we want to set it to accounting style. So let's go here to the number section. And if we click there, there's one called accounting. So I'm going to click on there. There we go. So it's come up to accounting style to 2 decimal places. So again, if we wanted to increase the decimal, if we wanted 3 decimal places, we could click there. 3 or 4 decimals, we could click there. If we wanted less, we wanted 1 or 0 decimals, we can just click there to show fewer decimals. So that's now in accounting style. And finally, I'm just going to save my work. We're now going to move on to task C. And in task C, we're told from the invoices worksheet, produce a pivot chart and pivot table in a new worksheet showing the number of diamond type sinks sold in each of the 6 months from July to December. So the first thing we're asked to do is to ensure that the pivot table is sorted in chronological month order. Then we want to format the chart series to show highest sales for the period in black and lowest sales in red. We want to add a chart title called Diamond Sink Sales and name this worksheet Diamond Sink Sold. The first thing that we need to do is to select all of our table of data. And I'm going to insert my pivot table, so I'm going to go to insert, pivot table, and it comes up with this box here, and it basically asks where do you want your pivot table to be shown. Now here it says it wants to be shown in a new worksheet, and we can see here that that's already selected new worksheet. So I'm just going to click on OK, and then we can see a new worksheet comes up for the pivot table. So now we've got to create our pivot table, and we're going to be dragging the different items into our fields to create it. So the first one we've got is type, and I'm going to drag that one into filters. Then where it says when, I'm going to drag that one into rows. And then quantity sold is going to go into values, the sigma values. There we go. Now with these pivot tables, it's often not easy to see what goes where, and a lot of it is trial and error. So just try dragging different things into different boxes, different fields, and hopefully with a bit of practice and with a little bit of trial and error, you should be able to find the layout that you're looking for. So now we've got our pivot table in place, we need to filter it, because what we're asked to show is only the diamond type sinks. So what we've got at the moment is we've got all of our sales for the period July to December. So I'm just going to filter it, and if we go up to type and click on the drop down box, I'm just going to filter it and just click on diamond. So by doing that, it's just going to have the figures for the diamond type sinks, and click on OK. And we can now see it's changed. So now it's showing just the type for diamond, and this little icon here is showing that the filter's in place. So we're showing just diamond sinks, and now it's just giving the figures for diamond sinks. So now we're going to add in a pivot chart, and to do that I want to firstly click anywhere in the pivot table, and I'm going to click on this button here, pivot chart. Now we're going to use a column chart which comes up already, so we're going to click on OK, and then we can see here there's my column chart. Now it's a little bit small, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger, and we can go to the edge there, just make it a little bit bigger, just make it slightly bigger so that a bit more clear. There we go. And then we can see here that that's expressing that as a chart. So now we need to format the chart series to show highest sales for the period in black and lowest sales in red. So here, let's find the month with the lowest sales. So that's August. So what I want to do is I want to click on it twice just to show that you can see just August is highlighted there. And then where it says shape fill, if we just click in there, and I'm just going to click on red. So now that's going to fill that one in red. And we can also see that the months are now showing as well. And equally, September is the highest sales month. So I'm going to click in there, again go to shape fill and click on black, and that's all in there. So now I've formatted the chart series to show the highest sales for the period in black and the lowest sales in red. It says to add a chart titled Diamond Sink Sales. Now here we've already got a title, but it just comes up with total, so we want to change that one. So I'm going to click in there, I'm just going to delete that, I'm going to put the title I want, and the title I want here is Diamond Sink Sales. And then just click out of it. And finally we need to rename the worksheet, so the tab at the bottom, we're going to need to rename that one Diamond Sink Sold. So I'm going to double click in here, just press delete or backspace, and then that becomes Diamond Sink Sold. And that's the pivot table and pivot chart done. So then all we need to do is to click on save, and that's done. We're now going to look at task D, and task D is looking at partnership accounts. This is something that's already been covered as part of the financial accounts preparation module, And if you're unsure about partnership accounts or the partnership appropriation account or partnership current accounts, then I would suggest that before you approach this question, you recap over those areas. In the question, you are told that you are now preparing the final accounts for BLM & Co for the year ended 31st of December 20x7. The statement of profit or loss for BLM & Co shows a profit for the year ended 31st of December 20x7 of £250,000. The business is still operated as a partnership. You were given the following information arising from the partnership agreement. Lakmani is entitled to a salary of £25,000 per annum. Over the year, Brian has earned commission of £8,586 and Lakmani has earned commission of £8,500. Brian has taken drawings of £91,200 over the year and Lakmani has taken £84,400. Interest on drawings has been calculated at £300 for Brian and £180 for Lakmani for the year ended 31st of December 20x7, and the residual profit after adjustments is shared between Brian and Lakmani in the ratio 3:2. And we're told over the page that you are required to prepare the appropriation account and current accounts for BLM & Co for the year ended 31st December 20x7. Task D says that using formulas where appropriate, so we need to understand where to use formulas, complete the partnership appropriation statement and current accounts in the BLM1 worksheet to share the profit for the year ended 31st December 20x7 between the two partners in accordance with the partnership agreement by making the appropriate entries from the data given above. So we're going to look at doing this one now, and we're going to start off by looking at the partnership appropriation statement, and I just want to pop in here the profit for the year. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I want to put in the profit for the year, which is £250,000. The next thing I want to do is I want to put in Lakmani's salary, which is £25,000. I can use a formula here for auto sum, and that just totals that up there. Interest on drawings, we're given interest on drawings there, and we're told that interest on drawings is £300 for Brian and £180 for Lakmani, and again we'll just do a formula there just to add those two up together. Then we've got commission. We're told that Brian's commission is 8,586 and Lakmani's commission is 8,500. And again, I'm just going to do an auto sum there. Just be careful with what it automatically comes up with. Make sure it's the right figures and change it if necessary. There we go, 17,086. We're now going to calculate the residual profit available for appropriation, and we're going to need to calculate this using our knowledge of the partnership appropriation statement. We'll put a formula in here, so I'll start with equals, and to calculate the residual profit available for appropriation, we start with the profit for the year, so this is the profit for the partnership, and then we want to say minus the salary. Then we want to say plus the interest on drawings. Now, if you remember from your financial accounts preparation studies that the interest on drawings is interest that the partners have got to pay back to the partnership. Effectively, it's kind of like a penalty for taking their drawings too early. So we have to remember that's a negative figure effectively. So we have to add that back. And then we're going to minus the commission. So just to summarise, what we're saying here is we're taking the profit for the partnership as a whole for the year, and then we're going to minus the money that the partnership pays out to the partners, which is minus the salary and minus the commission, and then we're going to have to add back the interest on drawings, which is money that the partners have to pay back to the partnership. If we just press enter, then that gives us our residual profit available for distribution. This is what we're going to be sharing out between the two partners using the profit sharing ratio. So we're told in the question that the residual profit after adjustments is shared between Brian and Lakmani in the ratio 3:2. Now if we remember with ratios, if we were talking about the ratio 3:2, then 3:2 is saying that in total there's 5 parts. So 3:2 is saying 3 out of the 5 parts goes to Brian and 2 out of the 5 parts goes to Lakmani. So let's do a formula here to calculate the profit share each person gets. So I'm going to do equals cell D10. Now that's the residual profit that's going to be shared out, and then we're going to prorata it, and we're going to say times, and then we can say in brackets 3 over 5. So 3 out of the 5 parts goes to Brian, and press enter. So Brian gets £125,036, and we'll do the same for Lakmani. So equals D10, that's the residual profit, and then times in brackets 2 over 5 because Lakmani gets 2/5. If we just add those two together, then we'll just make sure that we add those together. That comes to the same as the residual profit available for appropriation. That's basically just a check to say that the residual profit that was available for appropriation is the same as the residual profit that was actually shared out or distributed. So now what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the amount distributed to each partner. So for this one we'll do another sum. So we'll start with Brian. So I'm going to do equals his profit share, that's what he gets, plus his commission minus the interest on drawings, because that's what he has to pay back to the partnership. So Brian's overall figure is 133,322. Let's do the same for Lakmani. So equals the profit share plus commission plus her partnership salary, but minus the interest she has to pay back on her drawings. So hers comes to 116,678. And then we can see here that when we add those two together, that comes back to the £250,000 partnership profit for the year. We've now got to fill out the partners' current accounts. So we're going to be using the information we've just calculated in those. So we can see that both of them have got credit balances brought down, so they've got money in their accounts there. So we're going to start putting figures in there, and again this is where we need to understand the partnership accounts work from final accounts preparation. So for Lakmani, we can give her partnership salary, so that goes on the credit side. Remember, for the partnership current accounts, credit is basically increasing the partner's stake in the business and debit is effectively decreasing it. Then we can put the drawings in. Here are drawings, and we're told for drawings that Brian's drawings were 91 200 and Lakmani's drawings 84 400. Then the interest on drawings, because that's money the partners have to give up to pay back to the partnership, they're on the debit side. 300 for Brian and 180 for Lakmani. The commission is on the credit side. That's money that the partners get from the partnership. So we can put those ones in. So Brian 8586 and Lakmani 8500. Then we can put their profit shares in next. So Brian gets 125036 and Lakmani gets 83358. So the final thing we're going to look at now is to calculate the balance carry down. So we're going to balance off our partnership current accounts. Now when we look at our partnership current accounts, we're going to balance off to the bigger side, and we can probably see that the credit side is going to be the bigger side. So here for Brian, I'm going to use auto sum. Just make sure we've got the right cell selected to total that one, and then I'll do the same for Lakmani. And then I want to balance both off to the same figure. So for Brian's debit side, I'm going to do equals D27. So that balances those to the same. And for Lakmani, equals E27. So balance both sides of the T account off to the same. So the credit side is the bigger side. So on the debit side, I'm going to work out the balance CD using a formula. So I say equals the total minus the debit items, and that comes to 43322 for Brian, and we'll do the same for Lakmani. It equals the total minus that item minus that item, and that's her balance carried down. So the final thing we need to do is just to save our work. So just click on save, and that is now task 2.2 and section 2 of the Synoptic assessment, practice assessment 1, complete. Thank you for watching today. I hope you found it useful and hope it helps you prepare effectively for your Synoptic assessment.